Where is South Africa to support study? Oh, greetings from South Africa. That's nice. Okay. Okay. Great. Nice. Let's wait for the stream to go live. Oh, so we are already live. You can hear us. That's nice. Thank you so much, Lauren. Hi, everybody. Please say hi to us. Just drop some emojis in the chat. So, yeah, nice. Okay, very good. So, hello, teachers. It's nice to see all of you. Actually, I was just saying that I can see so many new names in the chat. So guys, if you are new to our webinars, or maybe if you're newbies at Novakid, please let us know, because it's so exciting to see so many new names, but also, as usual, so many familiar faces. So hello guys, it's nice to see you all. Yes. Okay, so good to see everybody, and yeah, let's start. As you know, today we have our webinar and we are going to talk about a very exciting topic. We are going to discuss how to teach a trial lesson. So this is a topic that a lot of teachers actually requested, so I hope that you will like our discussion today. So you know that at Novakid we have trial classes where parents can take a look at our school and at the teachers and decide if they want to continue studying with us. And this is a common practice in many schools, both online and offline, but it can be quite stressful for the teachers because, of course, you get to work with students who you meet for the very first time, and you have to do so many things and showcase your professionalism in such a short period of time. It can be really, really stressful. So today we are going to talk about and try to figure out how to make this experience more enjoyable and less stressful for you, and also probably more fruitful. For that, let me introduce my wonderful co-host for today. Please welcome Sadi. So Sadia is our amazing Novakid teacher. She has been with Novakid since 2021, and also she's part of our Ask Your Mentor program. So she does one-on-one sessions with other teachers, so probably some of you know Sadi in person. Please say hello to her, and Sadi, thank you for being with us. Hello.
Hello, everyone, and to my fellow peers. I'm so happy to be here today. And thank you for that warm introduction and welcome, Lisa. This is my first time, so I'm a bit getting there, finding my feet. And this entire presentation was put together by Lisa, so I'm very grateful and happy to be working with such a dedicated manager. Thank you very much, Lisa.
Thank you so much. Okay, so that's good. Nice to meet you all. And I think that we can start, and we will start with a very short warm-up and also a fun one, I hope. So we have prepared a few facts for you. I hope that you can see my screen. And these are the facts about trial classes. And some of them are true and some of them are false. So we will show them to you, and please let us know in the chat if you think that these facts are true or false. So let's check our first prompt here. So if your trial student booked a lesson with a different teacher, it does not count as conversion. Do you think it's a true fact or a false fact? Please let us know in the chat. So, Sadi, what do you think?
I would not like it if this is true, honestly, because that would be a very sad fact if it were true.
Okay, so that's good, and I can see that nobody says that it's true, and indeed it's false. So if your trial student converts, even if they continue with a different teacher, they still converted, and you were the person who did their trial lesson. So that's why it's your conversion rate. Nice. Okay, and the second prompt is
40% of trials are booked the same day. Is that true or false, guys?
so it means that parents decide to book a trial lesson and they book it for the same day in 40% of cases. So do you think if it's true or false? And I can see that now we have different opinions. Some people say that it's true, some people say it's false. So let's see. False, true, false, true, true, true. Most people think that it's true. I think true wins.
Seeing a lot of true here.
Yeah, but not by far. Okay, let's check. And this is true. So actually, this is a true fact, and 40% of our trial lessons are booked the same day. So this is why probably managers from the teacher support team normally advise you to open your JIT lessons. It really works because if parents book classes the same day, of course, they're looking for JIT slots. So this is a fact about that. So, okay, our next prompt. Parents pay only 50% of the class cost for a trial class. So, is it true? Is it false? What do you think? So, we start with a very strong true. If it's false, feel free to share why you think it's false. What is the true fact?
I'm saying false, trumping, winning.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, okay. So Jelena says that trial is free, and this is absolutely correct. And this fact is false. So parents don't pay 50% of the class cost. They pay nothing. So the trials are completely free for them. Okay. And the next one.
Right. One of the reasons students don't enroll in classes after trial lessons is because the teacher doesn't look like their profile picture.
Is it true? Is it false? What do you want to believe? So,
catfish. Somebody said catfish.
So can you believe that there is such a thing as catfishing in ESL industry, but most people think that this is false. So, okay, let's check. And actually, this is true. So sometimes, yeah, sometimes actually when parents book a trial lesson and they see your beautiful pictures, like profile pictures, and then they see a bad video or something like that, so maybe it's not the best day for you. Sometimes they believe that we deceived them and like put a different teacher in their trial lesson. And of course, this can be a reason, and it happens really. So that's why please make sure that you look the same as your profile picture. It's very important.
I'm just reading what Sean says. It says, remind me to trim my beard.
I don't think that it's that, they don't look for so many differences. But if you took a picture probably like 5 years ago, maybe it's good to update it from time to time. Okay, so, and the last one, teachers who wear glasses tend to convert better. So do you think if it's true or it's false? What do you think?
I'm really eager to see the response here.
So I'm surprised that more people think that this fact is true than the previous one. I like
Super
how
false. Cheryl says super false.
Super false. Okay, so let's check if it's true. Actually, it is false, but it's not completely false. Actually, we do have such a guess, and sometimes we can really see probably it's a coincidence. But if you want to check, you can try wearing glasses and see if it affects your conversion rate. But it's not proven. So tell us if you find like anything about it true. So that's good. Thank you so much, guys. That was a fun warm-up, and let's start our actual topic. So, Sadi, could you please tell us what we are going to talk about today?
Yes, Lisa. Our agenda for today is about parents and students' expectations, preparing for your trial lesson, and best tricks for your trial lesson. Finally, we'll have a Q&A.
That's right. Okay, guys, stay with us till the end. And if you have any questions, please ask them in the chat. We will do our best to answer them. Probably not all of them, because I expect that you will be asking about some facts that I may not be aware of. So, but we will do our best to answer most of the questions. And Alona, our fantastic moderator, will be collecting them, and we will answer them after the webinar. And also, please fill in the feedback form that we will be posting after the session. So this way you will get the certificates of attendance. Nice. Okay, so let's start. And first of all, let's discuss why we have trial classes here at Novakid. So I want to ask you a question. Have you ever had an experience when you had a trial lesson for yourself? It doesn't have to be a language school. Maybe you wanted to learn how to dance, how to play the piano, maybe some other languages. So have you ever attended a trial lesson in your life? And if yes, so what did you expect out of this trial lesson? Please let us know in the chat. So meanwhile, Sadi, have you had such an experience?
Yes, I have. Now that I'm back on the gym bandwagon, I joined the gym, and when I joined, we had a lot of free trial classes like yoga classes, spin classes, and things to get us moving, to get our bodies moving. And my obvious expectation was to see some fitness results and burn some calories.
Okay, so as an ESL student, you would be quite a tough student if you expect results out of a trial class. So, but yeah, that's nice to have. I can see that teachers, most teachers never attended a trial lesson. But some actually say that they expect leadership. So, online voice lessons for my daughter, Cheryl says. Yeah. That's right. Okay, Fiola, I'm sorry if I butcher your names. I will try not to, but I'm sorry. I hope my teacher was a kind one and fun. Yeah, I think that that's something that our students also hope for. That's nice. The difference in our school is that normally we have not two parties, like the teacher and the student, but actually three parties that participate in a trial lesson. And first of all, we have students, and with students, we have parents. And they may have different expectations, and what kids want is not exactly what their parents want, right? Students mostly want to have fun. Probably they want to learn something new, get to know you, make friends with you, and get motivated to learn English in the future. But probably also sometimes they don't want anything. They're just there because their parents wanted them to. And it's also a possible scenario. Parents, on the other hand, have much more expectations for you, right? First of all, they want to see their child happy, but also they want to make a good financial decision and choose the right school for the children, right? So that's why sometimes it's very hard to meet both parties' expectations. But we also have the third party, which is the teacher, obviously. So Sadi, do you have any expectations out of a trial lesson as a teacher?
Of course, I do have expectations. My biggest expectation would be to build a good relationship through rapport with the student, to leave a lasting and a good first impression, so that I could convert the student possibly and have a regular student, and also to get a conversion bonus naturally, because that's makes everyone happy. Yes.
Okay. If you can see that Sadie is shaking her head a little bit, that's because I forced her to say that she needs a conversion. She told me that she didn't. So she just
Oh,
wants to make her students happy. So such a nice teacher. That's
I wish I could 100% agree with you.
So that's nice. But anyways, that's true. Of course, teachers also have a lot of expectations out of trial classes. So that's why there are so many expectations to be met. And the perfect trial lesson is when everybody is happy, of course. But at the same time, we understand that it's a stressful experience for teachers, but also for students, because you can imagine how stressful, how stressed out you are. But can you imagine the kid and it can be their very first English lesson in their life. They have no idea what is about to happen. Everybody is stressed, but everybody wants to have fun. So it's quite hard. And something can definitely go wrong. So what can go wrong?
Sadly, from a teacher's point of view, a lot of things can go wrong. The first thing that can go wrong is staying presentable. I think you mentioned that just now, that sometimes the profile picture might not match the teacher's appearance in the class. And that speaks to the teacher's professionalism. That can also make parents feel like they've been deceived. That's not very helpful to the teacher and might not lead to conversion. There's an example of Selena Gomez there. The second thing that can go wrong is an unmotivated student. Sadly, a lot of the times the parents push their kids into extracurricular activities such as ESL classrooms, and you're a stranger to them, so it can be difficult finding their niche and understanding how to break the ice to build that kind of rapport with them and have a longer relationship with them. The third thing that can go wrong is the student's level of speaking is mismatched to the level that they're at. So they could be at a higher level and the grammar could be bad, or they could have good grammar and the speaking skills could be bad due to their lack of speaking practice. And that can be a challenge for the teacher when grading their language to speak to them, and also when placing them, like adjusting their level. The fourth thing that can go wrong is language grading. This is faced because teachers have to try to make themselves so dynamic with someone they've just met and only in 25 minutes to try and speak at the level of the student, like understand how to ask CCQs and how to teach the lesson in a way that the student will understand them 100%. The fifth thing that can go wrong is that parents can sometimes be co-teacher or co-pilot in the classroom. And a lot of my peers that have come to mentoring sessions have talked to me about that being a challenge. But only thing that I can advise you is to embrace them and work with them. Because eventually, after them gaining your trust, they do back off. And the faster you can show that you and the student have a good relationship, the faster that they can leave you two alone. And the sixth one is one that's within our control for the teachers, technical issues. So if there are technical issues either on our side or their side, it's a big distraction and it can lead the student astray.
Okay, thank you so much. That's really a lot to think about in such a short period of time. I was also reading a chat, and so we have some cases of influencers at a trial lesson. It can also add some stress. So thank you for sharing. Yeah, but we will try to discuss how to at least make these challenges less stressful, right? When you're trying to teach this class. So even if you cope with them very well, sometimes you just understand that not every student converts, right? But why? Why don't we have a conversion all the time? Even if I know that many teachers at Novakid are fantastic teachers who get excellent assessment results, so who are always on the top of their game, but still I believe that nobody gets 100% conversion. If you teach multiple years, it's probably impossible to do. And you can see my very smart diagram here. So it's very complicated, but we basically have three reasons. Some of them are outside of teacher's control. Some of them can be influenced partially by the teachers, but not fully. And some of them are fully in the teacher's control. In the chat, can you please just write some examples of the reasons that you can have full control over and something that you can't control at all? So let's see. So Sadi, why do you think students don't convert?
This is a very tough question to answer because, as you said, there are many reasons, but the reasons can either come from the student side or the teacher side. Sometimes the schedule of the teacher is so booked that there is simply no place for the new child to enter into that teacher's schedule. Other times it's the student that's overbooked and they have too much going on. Or other times it's a student that loves that particular teacher so much and will not budge and will not convert simply because their favorite teacher isn't available.
Yeah, those are very valid reasons. I can agree with you. I'm reading the chat. So Lauren says that correcting too much or too little, definitely teaching techniques can be the reason for conversion, especially we know that parents sometimes have very different expectations. So I had no idea there were South African students. We don't have South African students, but I think that people were talking about students from Saudi Arabia as a region. Sometimes the parents just want to abuse the free trial lesson. It can happen, we can't deny that, but I'm not sure if they can get anything out of it. Of course, I think nobody believes that the child can learn English in one lesson, right? So, good. Okay, sometimes parents have too much expectations from a trial class. What are the expectations that they have? So, what do you think? So parents are not satisfied with the student's experience, no immediate progress, right? Some parents do expect immediate progress, and we all understand that it's not always possible. That's good. Have less time for games. Students are not engaged. So can't focus for 25 minutes. Same here, students are not engaged in this case. So some parents are hard to please, even if their child is already having fun during the trial lesson. Okay, nice. Thank you so much. So many reasons to think about. That's right. When we talk about reasons that can be fully or almost fully controlled by teachers, we normally talk about if parents didn't like the teacher, for example, or if the student is not engaged, or if the lesson was too easy or too difficult for the students, so no proper level adjustment or adapting to the student's level took place during the trial lesson. These are the reasons that can be controlled by the teacher. Sometimes it's hard to do, I understand that, I hear you, but so this is why we have teachers who can adapt to their needs. In the yellow zone, we have the problems like they didn't like the material, they didn't think that our school is for them, they didn't like the platform, the convenient slots, something like that. Of course, teachers don't have full control over those reasons, but some control, so you have, right? So because you are the person who familiarizes the parents with the platform in the first place. And of course, something that you can control. So probably something that you said, if parents just want to abuse the platform, if students is experiencing some technical issues that can be solved, probably there are some financial problems or personal problems. So in this case, of course, we can't influence the situation in any way. And in this case, we understand that So 100% conversion rate is not possible, right? So,
Right.
and that is why I understand that some teachers who are so concerned about their conversion rate can be devastated. So we should understand that there are reasons that we can't have any control over. Okay, but let's talk about what we can control. And I think that before we start talking about the actual trial lesson, we can talk about preparing for one, right?
Right.
So, preparing for a trial lesson, what can we do before our trial lessons even begin? So, we discussed that parents are looking for professionalism, but professionalism as we mean it sometimes is not what parents are expecting to see, right? They are not experts. In most cases, there are, of course, parents who are very experienced in teaching, in education, but most parents are not. But they are looking at the picture mostly. So, and of course, before you start the class, the first step to test is your equipment. So, starting with the laptop or PC that you have, so make sure that you don't have any technical issues. This way you won't be stressed about it, but also at the same time, you will make sure that you look professional. So Sadi, are there any other tips about testing equipment or anything like that?
Yes, I 100% agree with you, Lisa. So first of all, you should check your connection. You should have a stable connection. And for my peers coming from South Africa and from Philippines that might be affected by load shedding or maybe a storm or things like that, a backup is important to have. Secondly, you should aim for excellent video quality by using a webcam or editing tools, which a lot of the teachers use here, such as Manicam and other, etc. Making sure also that your profile, not so much as to deceive the parents, so your profile picture should match your video content. You don't want to distort it to a point where it's deceiving. And thirdly, your microphone should have good, excellent noise canceling functions, because the student's going to get the information from your voice and from your microphone. So it should be clear and it should not be too close to your mouth where the student can maybe hear you breathing all the time. So just be mindful of that.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that you mentioned the sound, because I think that a lot of teachers think about their video quality and how they look, how their background looks, but they forget that audio is also important. And when you have, when, for example, you're speaking too quietly, or if your sound is too distorted, it's very hard to understand, especially for students who are not native speakers. So that's right. Do you have any tips how to make sure everything works?
So usually what I do is I start with a sound and a speed test. That's before the start of my shift. And I've also gotten into the habit of watching my own videos, which is cringe, I know. It's very difficult for me to watch myself or to even look at pictures of myself. It is very difficult.
I understand.
But with each watch, I improved better and better to a point where I don't hate watching my own videos now because I've corrected it each time. So it's helped me improve a lot. And yes, as I said, just make sure that your microphone is placed not that close to your mouth. Because sometimes we feel like if the microphone is closer to our mouth, they can hear us better.
Yeah.
It's a misconception.
So, do you think it's worth investing in a good headset?
100%. It is 100% worth it. And the one that I can recommend, which I think is available universally, is the Logitech H111 stereo headset, the one I'm using right now. It's actually very reasonably priced compared to the other headsets that I've experienced. And it in my opinion has the best noise canceling function.
That's nice. Guys, if you have any ideas for a good camera, probably also a cheap one or a microphone, so feel free to share, especially with our new teachers here. I think that it can be really useful and something that you can use later to improve the quality of your classes. I also like some of your ideas, especially like charge your laptop. I never even thought about that, but that's so important. I normally just have my laptop on a charger all the time, but I can imagine how it can happen that it just dies in the middle of the lesson. So that's good. Okay, great. Now we've tested all the equipment. Everything works perfectly. Sorry, before we move on, I just wanted also to mention that we do have some requirements for the equipment here on the slide, but there are minimum requirements. And for example, when we talk about the laptop or the PC, we should understand that if you use some hard, like very heavy software, for example, Manicam or any other video editing tool, probably the requirements for your laptop or computer should be much, much higher than that. So these are the minimum requirements for our platform. So make sure, check that everything works perfectly before you go to the lesson, especially a trial lesson. Okay, so that's good. Something else that you also have already mentioned is the background, right? Let's talk about that. We have some pictures here with our wonderful Alona, who is in the chat, and also Elena, and they agreed to help us and demonstrate different backgrounds. So let's take a look at these pictures and choose which one you think are appropriate as backgrounds. So please type the number or numbers in the chat. Sadi, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with the chat. The chat says 4 or 5, so I'm gonna go with 4 or 5.
So somebody also says 2 and 5, 4 and
Yes.
5. So why do you think? Why do you think it's not 1 or 3? What's wrong with them? Alona, sorry, nobody likes your pictures.
Oh, I like it.
Background, at least. Your pictures are beautiful. Okay, so 2 and 3 are distracting. 1, 2, 3, very distracting. 2, the background is too busy and distracting. Okay, so that's right. You're right, guys. So basically, the first 3 pictures are not good as an example, as a background. Probably number 2 is not the worst one. It's still pretty clean, but it depicts kitchen, which is not a professional surrounding, and probably you shouldn't go for it. The first one is a white wall, but it's clearly not in a very good condition. Of course, it doesn't look very professional. And the third picture, of course, has so much mess on the background. It definitely is not a suitable background. However, the plain background, the white wall or something like that, especially if you're wearing something bright, is a good thing. Of course, you can put some posters on your wall or something like that. It works perfectly. In such a case, when you don't have an opportunity to have a clean, perfect, neat background, you can also go for a virtual background, right? So, oh, sorry. So my MacBook is doing the things. That's something interactive. So, Sadi, have you ever experimented with your backgrounds?
You have no idea. I've experimented so many times. I went through a whole era of experimentation with my backgrounds. However, my regular students got used to this particular background, and they just told me directly that they want me to use this background. And I also noticed that my trial students as well, they like a more natural kind of background, because I was using the virtual Novakid background, and I guess it depends on your students. It depends on what they like or what makes you look best. Whatever works for you, I would say.
Okay, so that's nice. Virtual background can be tricky because when you are using your props, they can get lost in the background and stuff. So we have a question, what software you use with the background. I believe most teachers use Manicam, but also there is an inbuilt tool with MacBook if you have one, right? But guys, if you have any other ideas how to set a virtual background that looks nice, please help the teacher in the chat. Okay, nice. This is it about the background, but it's not everything about the picture. We also have position and light. And here we have some more examples. Please, let's do the same. Let's pick the best out of this. And if it's the best, please tell us why you think it's the best. So we have number 2, number 4, 2 and 4. Okay. So yes, we consider the angle, the lighting. So number 2 and 4. Number 4 is a bit muted. Number 2 is the brightest. Okay, nice. I think that everybody agrees that number 2 is a good picture and 100% is true. So it has very good position. Elena is in the center of the picture, and also the lighting is perfect. With number 4, I don't think that it's a perfect example, probably not the worst one, but the picture is too saturated. I think that it almost makes her look unnatural. So probably when you overuse some filters, it can be a little bit tricky. So in this case, out of these examples, probably number 2 is the best, right? So the rules are simple. Please be in the middle of the picture. Make sure that your head and your chest are visible when you're showing your gestures or props. Everything is very clear. So for example, if you need to show pronunciation, you can just move closer to the camera and it will make it more obvious. But of course, light also matters. Daylight, perfect solution, but we understand that many teachers work at night, so it can be tricky. Sadi, do you use anything to improve your lights?
I do. I use a simple ring light. I'm not familiar very much with Manicam, so I'm not familiar with filters. So I will just give you guys a quick demonstration. This is the ring light off. I just look like a moving blob. And then it's on. So voila.
So I think that it's very it's a very good demonstration. So when you have a light, the attention is fully on you, right?
Yes, I don't want the student to compete. I don't want to compete for the student's attention, because I know a lot of the students, the younger ones, can get distracted. But if I'm well lit, I know that the focus is on me.
Yeah, so that's right. Rose says that ring light hurts my eyes. It's valid. Of course, you don't have to use it all the time. But I think that the normal lamp is much worse for your eyes, right? At least with ring lamps, you can adjust the brightness, and of course, it's easier to make it work than a normal lamp. But share in the chat if you use any additional light sources, or probably if you have any tricks on how to make your picture lighter. Okay, so that's good. I think that that's all about setting up your classroom. So make sure that your equipment works, that your picture is nice and clear and professional. Also, probably pay attention to what you're wearing, but it's pretty simple. I don't think that we have a strict dress code or something like that. But I do have a question for the audience. Do you use any additional accessories to attract attention? I know that many teachers use, for example, some headbands, animal ears, or something funny. So do you use anything like that? Let us know in the chat. So Sadi, what about you? Do you
Oh
say?
my. I am not in the accessory field. I
Mhm.
will not even lie about that. I'm not right there. I'm not quite there yet, but I will try that.
So, it's not a requirement, but I know that many teachers do. So, for example, Hayden says that, especially for my younger learners, generally it's okay to use that, but make sure that it's only with your young learners up to the age of 7, max 8, because if you use something too funny with the older students, it's not good for a trial lessons, and it can be a valid reason why students don't convert. So leave it to very young kids, probably like 4 or 5 years old. But for older kids, if you want to stand out, if you want to be fun, go for a bright t-shirt. Like plain bright t-shirt works perfectly. This way you will stand out a lot, but at the same time you won't seem too childish for your older trial students. Okay, so that's good. That's all for the looks. Now we are 100% prepared. Sadie, can we do anything else before the trial starts to prepare better for it?
Yes, we 100% can. We can learn the student's name. We can try to understand the student's origin by looking at their country code, like DE, RUSA. So we can use that in our warm up, or we can use maybe some information to break ice, or some background information to ask CCQs, to build rapport and to try to convert the student better. And if you go to your trial student, there is a student card that gives you all the information. Now that's a new thing that I've noticed, where you can familiarize yourself with their requirements, their needs, their hobbies, their likes, their dislikes, which you can also use to engage a student in the class, as CCQs, rapport builders, icebreakers, etc.
So, yeah, okay, that's nice. Actually, that's a lot of information that you can get about a student who you've never met before. So I hope that you take this opportunity and at least learn their names. So now we have powerful AI tools that can teach you how to pronounce their names before even the lesson starts. But also, of course, and I saw some teachers mentioned it in the chat, you should make sure that you know the lesson material in advance and it's available for you. Also, you can check the trial classes at all times on our teacher hub. So especially if you're new to Novakid and you're not 100% familiar with trial lessons, make sure that you take time and prepare. Also, we do run a lot of experiments now, and sometimes you can encounter a class which is not very familiar to you, even if you are an experienced teacher. In this case, make sure that you check your email or your messages on the side, because there is definitely a training material on a lesson if you see something new. We always try to make some concise training sessions to keep you informed about all the changes in the trial curriculum. Okay, so with that, I feel like we are 100% prepared for the trial class. Let's move on to the actual trial lesson, right? So let's pretend that it has started. And you know, guys, that we do have a lot of criteria for trial quality. Maybe many of you have received assessment before, but we also have some research that shows how your techniques, specific aspects of the lesson, connect to the conversion rate. I have a question for you. So here on the slide, you can see 6 different aspects of the lesson or techniques. Which of these do you think are the most crucial for a successful trial? And just a tip, there are 3 points that are crucial. Please answer in the chat box. So, Sadie, what do you think? Which one is the most important?
In my personal opinion, it would be language grading. I would say it's language grading. I think language grading for me is the most important, because if you're able to grade your language, you're able to put the correct student in the correct level, so your level adjustment moves smoothly. You're also able to build better rapport with your student and the student's not left confused. And if you're able to build rapport with the student understands you, then you impress the student and you get the student to use the lesson target more effectively. So everybody wins with better language grading.
Okay, definitely 100% valid. So we do have a lot of answers in the chat. So ABE, it's level adjustment, error correction, and language grading. Okay, also we have BDE, which also includes providing clear instructions. So all definitely all aspects are important, 100%, but there are some that have a higher impact on the trial lesson quality than others. At least in the eyes of the parents, we understand that they are the ones who are making the decision about future classes. Okay, Sadi, you're 100% right. Language grading is among those important things, and the correct answers from here are, of course, level placement and level adjustment, providing clear instructions, and language grading. It doesn't mean that error correction using props and appropriate student talk time are not important. They are 100% very important, but probably using clear language and adjusting the level properly is something that you have to do every single trial, right? Good. Now we have a lot of material on each and every technique out of this. So, but we do have a wonderful and charismatic teacher here as a speaker. So we've decided to just discuss it in a free format. I've prepared some questions for Sadi, a short interview. So if I can say that. So Sadi, are you okay with that? If I ask you
Yeah,
some questions.
let's go.
Okay, so I hope that you are excited. So the first question is to a teacher and the person who works a lot with other teachers in terms of mentoring sessions and so on. Do you believe as a teacher that level adjustment is that important, that it really influences the conversion rate of your students?
Yes, I do. I believe that it is very important because if you incorrectly adjust a student's level, it can force both you and the teacher after you to be very confused, first of all. Second of all, it could also not even lead to that, where the parent doesn't convert at all because it felt like the student, as some of you teachers were saying, and you were saying earlier, that the student is not engaged. And if the student doesn't understand or finds that you are being too difficult, with a mismatched level, they will be confused and they will not engage. So it's going to be a very big hassle on all parts, if that's something that happens during a trial class.
Yeah, so 100%. So guys, feel free to also comment your opinion on my questions. Let's do a Q&A session in reverse when I will be asking your questions and you will be answering my questions. So feel free to agree with Sadi or add something. I can see that Lauren says that sometimes parents don't agree with the level and that can prevent them from converting to, it can be true, but in this way, so probably it's like, it's quite tricky, but in this case, we need to understand why they feel like this way, level is not correct for them. So probably some other adjustments need to be done. Speaking of which, so there are cases when you can't adjust the level. Sometimes parents interfere too much, you can't make the correct decision. Or as Lauren said, parents don't want to change the level. So do you have any tips on adapting to the student needs in this case?
Yes, you were just reminding us that there's so many resources at Novakid, and a lot of the resources speak about scaffolding techniques. If you use scaffolding techniques effectively, in a trial class, it can really help you to build rapport and to impress the parent. That means that you ask questions from very difficult to not so difficult or not so difficult to very difficult, to try and gauge how to grade your language and answers from the student, because the whole goal is to try and increase student talk time and decrease teacher talk time. And if you can do that effectively, it can really help with conversion.
Yeah, so that's right. And I agree that parents sometimes don't understand the importance of level adjustment, but that is why when you adjust the class during the lesson, it's better, because sometimes parents may not even understand if you adjusted the level. So if you do it after the trial lesson, it can be quite hard to convince them that it's necessary, right? So try to make this transition smooth, and it will lower the possibility that parents won't agree with you in the future. By the way, guys, we've just recently had a nice webinar with Steven and Natalia about level adjustment, and we talked a lot about testing, especially during the trial lessons. So please feel free to check it out. I think that Alona will post a link in the chat right now. So if you didn't participate last month, feel free to check. It has a lot of useful tips and techniques about language testing. Okay, that's nice. Thank you so much. The second thing that we discussed and that has a huge impact on trial lessons are clear instructions, right? Do you have any tips how to adapt your instructions as well during the trial lesson?
Yes, Lisa. This was not an easy question to answer, because there's a lot of different ways to be clear, and teachers use different techniques. But I summed it up into verbal and nonverbal cues. So you can, for verbal cues, you can use the student's name. You can give clear and short instructions. So instead of saying long 6-word sentences, you can shorten it to 2-3-letter words like please circle, please read, please watch. And you can prepare for the lesson, prepare all your slides, and know the lesson so well that you are able to adapt, jump, chop, and change whenever you need to in the class, so you don't get nervous. For nonverbal cues, you can use your eye contact. You can try to maintain eye contact with the student. You can use your body language, which at Novakid we call TPR. You can use TPR to engage with the student, your props, your tools, your physical props. I like stickers, whatever you feel might be engaging. And proximity. Obviously, you cannot jump out of the screen and go to the kid and touch the kid, but you can use your vocal intensity. You can enunciate your words. You can come closer, far away, and you can also use your virtual editing tools like Manicam.
Okay, that's nice. I like this idea because I think that probably many teachers as well, I come from offline teaching myself, and when I started teaching online, it was quite hard to understand that I can't physically like touch the students, or at least get closer to them. So you don't have this, so you can't use distance as a tool to show the instructions, something like that. So I agree with you, just using your camera and being kind of 3D in this space can really help with that. So nice techniques. So apart from everything that we've talked, personally for you, what do you think is the most important thing to do in the trial class, if you could do one thing in those 25 minutes?
So for me, I can sum it up into rapport. I think rapport is the winner. If you build a good rapport, even if the student wasn't able to engage with you 100%, but if the student likes you, you're automatically favorable, and that's a higher chance of conversion on your part. So, if you're able to build rapport with the student, if it's a difficult student or a younger student, that can work very well in your favor.
So that's nice. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, guys, also thank you for the discussion in the chat, right? So that's nice. I have just one more question left for Sadi, but if you have to go, so please stay with us. We will be here just for maximum 10 more minutes. But if you have to go, please don't forget to fill in the feedback form, and Alona will share it with you on the chat. So this way you will get the certificates of attendance. If you don't fill it in, you won't. So Yeah, nice. Okay, I have one more question. So how do you feel about parents' interference? I think that this is, as you said yourself, this is the number one question from your mentees and something like that. So how do you deal with that? What do you think
Right.
about that?
It's difficult to answer this burning question because I'm not a parent. But I can say that they are not the distraction. We need to embrace them and we need to work with them. And the faster we can be friends with them, the faster we can gain their trust and build rapport with the student or show that, okay, your kid is in good hands and you can trust your kid with me because we work well without you, your interference. If you could show that, relationship, then the parent can back off faster and trust you with their kid alone.
Yeah, so that's nice. Guys, in the chat, let me know if you ever communicate with parents anyhow during the trial lesson. I'm just curious. So because I understand that it's very important and probably you focus more on the student, but do you include parents in any way? And if you do, does it help? So let's exchange the experience. Or probably you think that it's not worth it and better not to involve parents in any way in the classroom because it's useless. Say, um, I greet the parents. That's nice. I think that it's a good idea to do that. So include the parents. Some children do need their parents there. I think most children need their parents during the trial class. During the regular classes, of course, many children study perfectly without parents. But as we said, parents are going to make this decision if the student is going to study with the school. So most likely they are there, right? And probably it's better if they are there. So say hello. So cheer them, thank them. So include the parents, especially with young students. So yeah, okay, that's nice. Include parents during examples. That's also nice. So ask some questions about the parent. I like that. So basically, I don't think that it's a bad thing to include parents, and probably they will appreciate it because this way the child will also feel more comfortable if they understand that you speak to the parents as well. So not a bad idea. Of course, when you focus entirely on parents, it won't help. But as you said, if you just say hello, and goodbye and thank you, mom, or something like that. Or if parents speak English and ask you a simple question and you answer that to your best ability. So that's a nice thing. I think it helps a lot. Okay, so great. Thank you so much. Let's just summarize it very briefly, and we will be ready for the Q&A session. So if you haven't asked your questions yet, so please feel free to do that now. What we have discussed today. For a successful trial lesson, first of all, don't underestimate your preparation. Test everything, aim for a professional look. Make sure that you read the materials in advance, especially if you are a new teacher or if you are a very experienced teacher with loads of regular students, but you haven't had a trial in a while. Take your time to read through the trial again. Maybe there have been some changes since the last time that you've taught this trial. And of course, learn what you can about your student. During the trial lesson, language grading and instructions are the most important, but also don't forget to test your student and adjust the level if necessary, especially if your student is really struggling or flying through the class, so if you don't understand what to do with that. And of course, build connection because this rapport, as Sadi said, and I agree with her 100%, it will help you a lot with the further regular classes, even if you haven't finished building it during the trial lesson. And lastly, for some don'ts, please do not treat every trial in the same way. students feel that. If you go for 10 trials every day and you just teach them in the same way, so they will feel that, because you will have this look like a YouTube video. So please try to pay attention to the student and react to their reactions. It helps a lot. And as I said, don't be afraid to include the parents. So probably it will make the experience less stressful for everybody. Okay, that's all for today, I believe. Do we have any questions? So let me check. I believe we do. So, and we do. So the first question from Amanda. About the looks, are we allowed to wear head coverings like beanies, especially in winter? I have an answer to this question, but I'm just interested to think what a teacher could think. So, Sadie, what do you think? It's just no right or wrong answer. It's just what do you think?
Personally, I have not worn any head coverings. I come from a very, very hot city, in South Africa,
Yeah,
warm
probably
city.
not the right person to ask this question.
So, I've not ever worn that, but I don't think it sh I personally would not wear one beanie in the classroom. Uh, I wouldn't wear it. But I think a jacket would be fine, but I wouldn't want to cover my head.
Mhm. Okay, so of course, if it's something that you do for religion, for example, if you're wearing hijab, then it's up to you. But I wouldn't advise wearing beanies or something like that, because it's not a professional wear, right? So we should aim for something smart, but casual. But beanies are something, probably it's like sportswear. I wouldn't. So I don't know if it's cold. I'm from a very cold country on my own. I never wear hats, things like beanies or hats inside. So I don't know if you can help it. I'd rather not. Okay, so we have one more question. I do have a question about looks. As a Muslim, can I use a traditional head cover? You can, of course. So the next one, Christian asks, how many trial lessons can a student have? They normally have one, unless something happens. If something happens in the trial lesson that they don't have control over, they can apply, and we can manually assign one more trial lesson, but they can't have unlimited number of trial lessons. So I have, sorry, I got distracted. Yes, so normally the students have only one trial lesson. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so do we have any more questions?
Very relieved that one student only has one trial lesson. That's a relief, right? That has to be a relief, guys.
Yeah, so I hope so. Yes, so let me see. Also, just following up on the previous question, was it a suggestion about a beanie? We don't have strict rules that forbid you from wearing it, but just based on experience, it wouldn't do well in the class. So probably some parents may not react well to that. So yes, it's a suggestion, but as I said, so probably based on experience, I wouldn't recommend doing that. So anything else? Any other questions?
I see one here. It says, what does it mean if a trial lesson is canceled by service?
It can mean very like many different things. So normally it happens when there is a technical problem or something like that. So that's why it can mean different things. But don't worry if it happens. It doesn't affect your stats in any way. So it's like the students cancel this lesson. So the same. So I can see one more question. And yes. Are trial lessons booked by parents themselves or by service? Trial lessons are booked by parents, but if you ask about how teachers are assigned, there is an algorithm that helps the parents choose the teachers based on their like the times that they prefer and stuff like that. So, but parents choose the trial lesson, they book the trial lesson. If you ask about the support, in some cases, yes, the support team, the service can help them with assigning a trial lesson, but in many cases, they do it on their own on the platform. So, let's ask 3 more questions.
I see one question here from Ruby. It says, I had an experience when my trial lesson was taken over by a regular student. They are siblings. What do we do in this situation?
If you can, so definitely inform support about this.
Yeah.
So 100%, and to follow the instructions. So probably there is something in the bot about that. But the trial lesson will be considered as like successful in this case in any way. I believe. So it's better to ask the support about that. Definitely your regular students shouldn't have any trial classes with you. Yep. So we have one more question. How is the list of teachers presented to the parent when they want to book a trial? It's like the same as if you book like anything. You choose the time that you prefer and probably some characteristics for teachers, and it randomly puts a list. There is an algorithm that makes sure that different teachers get into that list when the trial class is assigned. But usually the parent gets a selection of a few teachers that they can book a class with. If they can't find any suitable teacher from that selection, they will ask the service to help them with that. I hope that that answers your question. So, how to explain to parents in an actual class to reduce co-teaching? You mean the regular lesson? So, if you talk about the regular lesson, we actually do have a lot of material about that on Teacher Hub. Probably we've talked about it a lot, but so why not? We have studied for the very first time. So do you have any tips on how to reduce co-teaching during the regular lessons?
Again, so the more rapport you've built with the student, the more confidence the parents have in your teaching. So that's based on how you and the student react. And this is your regular student, so how well the two of you get along with each other, the faster they're going to reduce their appearance in your classes. And from personal experience, I've noticed this. You find parents mostly there for the first couple days or first couple classes, and eventually they back away. Sometimes the more you're going to focus on avoiding the parent, the harder it's going to be for you to build rapport with the student. So just embrace the parent and go along with it, but try to gain the parent's confidence to prove that you are a good teacher and they can leave you alone with their kid.
So that's nice. Okay, I like this advice. So basically, usually when parents start trusting you, they will do it less, but it's okay with an old good, a little bit passive aggressive, but always working. Like, thank you, mom, and now John. So it works well. Usually, sometimes parents don't even understand that they are too involved in the lesson. But if you
True.
constantly draw attention back to the student, they will get the hint in
Mm-hmm.
most
Mm-hmm.
cases. So that's good. Okay, so many questions, guys. Many of them are technical. Um, Please, if we don't have time to answer them all, leave them in the feedback form, and we either leave the resources after the webinar in the post-webinar source letter where you can find information or answer your question directly. But just one more question. A regular student booked a trial lesson, but for a different level, which was a VE. Is that okay? It is okay as long as as long as when it is a different course. So as you know, Time to Talk and VE are a different speaking course, and some students have two courses at the same time, our regular course and also speaking course. In this case, it's okay if they're your regular student, but they want to try a different course, they book a trial lesson. It can happen. So that's good. Okay, guys, thank you again so much. We are, as usual, 10 minutes late, but thank you for everybody who managed to stay with us. Again, it was a very fruitful discussion. I saw that there were many great ideas in the chat. Thank you, as always, for participating so actively in our webinars. So please, again, don't forget to fill in the feedback form and leave your questions if we haven't answered them. We will do our best to provide you with the resources or answers to those questions. And yeah, so Sadi, thank you so much for being
Thank
here with
you.
me. So you're amazing. And Alona, thank you for your support behind the screen. And have a good night, day, morning, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.